So, ladies and gentlemen, as regular listeners know, we have been talking a good deal about the NSA spying scandal lately. We're going to be talking about it even more so a little later with Driftglass and Blue Gal. But thanks to President Barack Obama, we're actually going to go back to the future on this next news item. So this week, ladies and gentlemen, the Senate held confirmation hearings on the nomination of President Barack Obama's choice to head the FBI. If you haven't heard, who exactly did President Obama choose to head the FBI? Why, none other than former Bush administration Deputy Attorney General James Comey. Because why not, right? I'm sure that there was no one. I'm sure that there was no one who wasn't a former Bush administration official available. All the non-Bush administration people, I'm sure, were busy doing something else. So obviously you got to get someone who was involved with the Bush administration. However, I hear some of you may be raising some objections here. Some of you may be saying, wait, Matt, wait. James Comey, I remember that name. Isn't James Comey the guy who famously stood by John Ashcroft's hospital bed and stopped Alberto Gonzalez and Lou, I believe, and threatened to quit over an expansion of warrantless spying? And yes, that is him. That is in fact him. However, as we're going to go into now, that story is actually not as simple and clear-cut as some people would like it to be. The fact of the matter is that Comey, as Deputy Attorney General for George W. Bush, approved the legal memos that in fact endorsed Bush and Cheney's executive power assertions, including the NSA warrantless wiretapping initially. That he actually endorsed the fact that the warrantless spying was in fact legal. Again, let's make this clear. Comey signed off on warrantless spying being legal. Okay, let's be clear here. Legal, not illegal, legal. Bush and Cheney later wanted to go further. They wanted to go further than that, and that's where the whole Ashcroft hospital bed thing occurred. And you know, in all credit where it's due, good for him for stopping it from getting worse. But it's not that he didn't think that warrantless spying was illegal. He actually signed off on it. George Zornick at The Nation actually writes, quote, "Warrantless surveillance didn't stop because of that episode. Bush just agreed to make an as yet unknown modification to warrantless surveillance, which continued." End quote. So there we go. It did get dialed back a bit, apparently. How much so, we really don't know. But let's not kid ourselves. He still did approve of warrantless spying. Also, as Deputy Attorney General, he was also heavily involved and a major defender of indefinite military detention without charges. Namely, and most famously for, or I guess you say infamously for, the case of Jose Padilla, the American citizen who was held without charges for over 3 years as an enemy combatant. He was tortured. I mean, again, we're talking about an American citizen who was held, tortured, driven crazy without due process for over 3 years. That, ladies and gentlemen, is James Comey's handiwork. You can find numerous interviews where he's defending the way that was handled. So, okay, indefinite detention, totally cool with. Warrantless wiretapping, totally cool with. Let's get to another one. Let's get to torture. Torture in the George W. Bush administration. So, we're going to try to be fair to him on this one. In 2009, the New York Times published internal emails where Comey expressed reservations on the Bush torture policy. He said, he expressed reservations on this. However, this is very, very important here, folks. Despite those reservations that he emailed and that you have in the emails that the New York Times got, despite those reservations, then Deputy Attorney General Comey actually did sign off on the legality of George W. Bush's torture program, including waterboarding, sleep deprivation, wall slams, where you slam someone into a wall, and others. He didn't like it, but again, he signed off on the legality, and that was his job as Deputy Attorney General to not do that. So look, he certainly, let's be fair, he certainly wasn't the absolute worst person in the Bush administration, sure, but what he did sign off on was disgusting and frankly criminal. Torture, warrantless surveillance, indefinite detention. So all of that really goes to show that clearly this man is a good choice for Barack Obama's head of the FBI, right? An appointment that lasts for 10 years, by the way. 10 years. This man is clearly the best choice of every single solitary person in the United States of America to head the FBI. Someone who signed off on torture, warrantless spying, indefinite detention. He also has some horrid Wall Street and big business ties after he left the DOJ. But none of that matters. Because we all know President Obama doesn't prosecute Wall Street. We all know President Obama doesn't prosecute torturers or those who authorized torture. Oh no. Barack Obama, however, does prosecute the whistleblowers who exposed the torture, like John Carrico, who's currently sitting in jail for blowing the whistle on the torture that Comey signed off on. Those who torture, those who authorize torture, not only are they let off scot-free, not only do they walk the streets as free men today, not only that, but Barack Obama gives some of them jobs. Big jobs, giant jobs, important jobs, like the head of the bloody FBI. Like the head, not only that, like the head of the CIA, John friggin' Brennan. Another torture and rendition monster is Obama's head of the CIA. But I guess it's all part of, let's look forward and not backward. Or if we do look backward, if we do go back to the future, let's reward the monsters with money and power. We'll be right back.